Welcome back to the Crypto Ski Conversation. We're going to quickly jump into CoinGecko here. We're currently sitting at a $1.83 trillion market cap, sitting up 2.4%. Looking at the top 10 here, Bitcoin sitting at 38,492, Ethereum sitting at 2,687, Tether is Tether, Binance Coin sitting at 376.90, Cardano sitting at $1.05, Solana sitting at 100, XRP sitting at 61, DOT sitting at 1955, Terra 5121, and so on. We're seeing a lot more green in the market as of today. So let's take a look at the top gainers here. So we got a 13%, 12%, 10%, and then we have Terra sitting at 92. I mean, there's some positives within the market within the past 24 hours. Coming over here to the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index, we're currently sitting at a 20, so we're back in the extreme fear range. We were at the fear range at sitting at 29 yesterday, but we're back down here. And as you know, we've been in this range for some time, and that all comes down to a lot what's going on in the markets. And it's not just our market that's been decimated and affected. It's all markets, especially when it comes to Jerome Powell and the Fed, inflation, and what their plan is for, their tapering and their interest rate hikes. And a lot of other, negatives and positives that's been coming out is the quarterly earnings from a lot of the major companies and corporations. So obviously there's been some good, but a lot. There's been some good and some bad that's been affecting, traders and institutions in regards to their investments. A lot of people have sold off in the recent weeks, but then there's been some positives coming out from quarterly earnings that has been affecting, them reinvesting back into certain companies. But with all that being said, with the negativity from articles, headlines to markets being decimated, being down, inflation, and all these talks of uncertainty on kind of what Jerome Powell and the Fed are going to do, I just wanted to touch on some positives that were going on in the space. So we're going to start with this right here. It says SEC approves first national blockchain-powered Boston Security Token Exchange, and this is through Blockworks. The Boston Security Token Exchange has been cleared to begin offering pricing and market data built on blockchain technology. So the headlines here, or the topics are, it says the SEC has given the nod for BSTX to begin providing customers a market price feed based on blockchain technology. The move marks the first time the SEC has granted approval for a national blockchain-enabled securities exchange. So, that's a positive in a market that I wanted to touch on. Coming over here, this is massive. Crypto exchange FTX now valued at 32 billion after the third fundraise in the last 6 months. The exchange raised 400 millions in a Series C round. It says CEO Sam Bankman-Fried right here said the exchange will seek to offer more products, gain additional licenses. The same investors that put money toward the exchange's U.S. affiliate Series A round last week took part in FTX's latest fundraise. So I don't know if how much you've been paying attention to FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried's his investment strategy, him backing Solana heavily and kind of seeing the writing on the wall with that project, and just seeing him do as much as he possibly can to make his platform massive. You could tell that he's coming after Binance, and obviously Binance has had like the stronghold and like the over dominant exchange presence within our space for years. So you got this gentleman and his exchange and his company and his strategy coming to be one of the higher powers and one of the dominant exchanges within our space, which is massive. That healthy competition is good. So another positive here, Blockworks had tweeted breaking. Congressman Tom Emmer interested in receiving part of his salary in Bitcoin. So he came over here and he was talking with Pomp, and Pomp had tweeted this, kind of referencing the same thing. He says he would be the first U.S. congressman to successfully do this. So let's take a listen in and see what he says.
You obviously, as a U.S. congressman, get paid in U.S. dollars. There are now applications, something like maybe Strike, that would allow you to pick a percentage and auto-convert on payment a portion of your salary into Bitcoin. Would you ever think about doing something like that and taking a portion of your salary in Bitcoin?
Yeah, why not? But I want to make it clear, I wouldn't restrict it to Bitcoin. I know that you and others in this area, in fact, I've got one in my office now. I kind of love him. He wrote me a thing about maximalist, which I'm kind of getting into. But the idea that we can start to bring crypto into the mainstream, whether it's by converting some of our salary to that or by allowing organically, I will make it clear, because I don't want anybody to take from my statements that I think it makes sense to mandate what people take as a bargain for value of exchange. But I think organically, Pomp, I think if we allow this to be the opportunity, I think, yes, I would take advantage of it. I think there's a lot of people who would. And that, by the way, is how you can facilitate this evolution that we're in while allowing the legacy financial institutions to, if they choose, to evolve with the financial industry or not. And you can ask some great companies of the past. Sears Roebuck is one that comes to mind that chose not to evolve, and we know what happens there.
I'm gonna send some folks up there to Minnesota, and we're gonna get.
So I wanted to touch on that because that's a major positive. So you have a gentleman like this, a U.S. Representative, Congressman Tom Emmer, speaking highly of kind of his viewpoint on the space, and he was bringing out a lot of important and vital words that I wanted to bring up. So he's talking about organic adoption, evolution, evolving. So with a gentleman like this, coming out speaking highly of, not just Bitcoin, just the entire space in general when it comes to digital assets and what they have to offer, just like we've been talking in our previous videos, there's so many people, so much money waiting on the sidelines, waiting for, more regulatory clarity, a very concrete and fair regulatory approach to the crypto space. And they're waiting to hear, people they look up to like Tom Emmer or Apple CEO or Walmart or, Kevin O'Leary or all these major players in the industry. They're waiting for their heroes or the people they look up to step into the space saying, kind of giving their stamp of approval. As much as we'd like the adoption to happen at a faster rate, we have to realize the adoption is happening day by day. And now with gentlemen like, our Congressman Tom Emmer coming out saying stuff like that, that's going to entice the people that look up to him, that view his opinion as, valid and meaningful. They're going to see that and be like, okay, well, if Congressman Tom Emmer can do it, I should do it. So I should learn about Bitcoin and blockchain technology and other digital assets. I should learn about the entire space. So that way they're getting their feet wet. So then as they kind of start, learning and educating themselves and utilizing certain platforms, they get more comfortable. They're going to dive further in. Just think about when you first got in, how it was. You were a little weary of the space. Not sure. Then you kind of jumped in. Bought your first asset, started trading, started learning different things, and then boom, you're fully immersed into the space. You have high conviction on the space. I'm the same way. So think about it. There are millions and millions of people just sitting on the sidelines, just waiting for that green light to make them, a little bit more at ease and trust, what our space has to offer. So stuff like this, I think, is so massive. And what he said about organic adoption, that is what we want. Organic. Obviously you have certain players that come out and kind of like, boost certain projects or whatever, entice some sort of like FOMO. But like if you got gentlemen that's like generally like, yeah, I'll take, some of my salary in this, or like, hey, I've taken a specific allocation of my portfolio and put it into Bitcoin or other digital assets. That entices other people to come in because it builds confidence. It builds a little bit more trust. Now, with that being said, we genuinely need clear, concise, and fair regulatory clarity for our space to truly flourish. So that's what we're really driving to. But he's right about organic adoption when it comes to evolution. It's happening. Change is happening. And it's quite evident. The writing is on the wall when it comes to the crypto space. This is the future. And if, congressmen and women, government officials, companies, entities, and businesses can't, get behind that, and they don't want to so-called evolve, like he said, then they're going to get blockbustered and they're going to get left behind. And that's just the reality of what's going on. So I thought that was extremely powerful when it comes to, Bitcoin and cryptocurrency adoption, because we need to see this thing. Other people need to see these things. And we've already talked about, it's not just the people sitting on the sidelines, it's the trillions and trillions of dollars sitting on the sidelines from, big corporations or big institutions just waiting for regulatory clarity to jump into the space. It's happening. And that's not including the workers. And we talked about it, so I won't go too deep into it, but just realize there's a lot of people that would like to work for blockchain technology companies and that are just waiting for some sort of certainty, security, and confidence within the space when it comes to that regulatory clarity. So this is just the beginning. We are so early to the party with that, and I just wanted to bring that up. So to end on these last two here, I'm going to talk about some NFT stuff. I've started diving into the NFT space late last year. And I see the value with NFTs, and I highly value this the specific sector when it comes to the crypto market. Excuse me, it says breaking NFL to create crypto and NFT partnerships according to job posting. So they're talking about this job posting that was down here. It says NFL considers NFTs as a key growth element. The job also hints at metaverse partnerships. So a positive when it comes to NFTs. Then it says American Express CEO, we're looking at ways to get involved with NFTs. So as you can see, NFTs have truly started hitting the mainstream. A lot of people know about NFTs, and obviously we have our big, categories when it comes to, Bored Apes or your CryptoPunks or your, whatever other major crypto projects out there or crypto NFT project that's out there. But just know that this space is so small. I think we evaluated it at like 12 billion in one of our past videos. It's so early. Yes, the rate of growth has been tremendous recently, but it's still super early. NFTs have truly been proven to have staying power when it comes to the space because people see, the writing on the wall and they see the value within NFTs. And just keep in mind, if NFTs is a specific section or a specific sector of the crypto space that entices and brings new members in, new community members in, more money in, and then they start kind of branching out and learning more about the general, crypto space when it comes to DeFi and when it comes to all the other aspects, blockchain technology and crypto has to offer, that's when the space truly flourishes and grows. And just like Kathy Wood and ARK Invest said, that's how the space gets to, $40 trillion by 2030. And that's how you see, $500,000 or $1 million Bitcoin is just that rate of growth when it comes to that organic growth and people fully adopting, countries and businesses adopting Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and blockchain technology, seeing the writing on the wall, knowing that is the future. But just with all that, I just wanted to bring out some positives when it comes to the space. I know I like to put a little bit in my videos while still kind of bringing up some of the negatives, just to kind of give some, some hindsight and some view, in my particular view of what's going on in the market. But just know that, yeah, we may be in this space where, we're having this, this specific bear trend. But, per the analysts I follow, per, the news I follow, and my understanding of the markets being in here since 2017, this is just, the ebbs and flows of the market. We got to take the good with the bad. It just is what it is. And we're in this particular extreme fear range for some time now. From my experience, this is the time to accumulate and set strong and have high convictions on the assets that I invest in. And I continue to follow that, investing strategy in that path because from my experience, it's what works. So we're in this range. It's all good. There's so much positive within this space, and it's happening day by day, just like I've said in previous videos. I just wanted to bring some positivity in here. But with all that being said, just remember, we are so early to the party. We're sitting at a $1.83 trillion market cap. We are super early to the party. It hasn't even started yet. I truly believe that. We're on the right side of history with the blockchain technology and cryptocurrency. With all that being said, stay strong out there. Be safe.